Go off. Go off. Go off.
Peace, everyone. Here goes another show with the Scoop of Fari X. Today, well, I should say tonight, I have the special, the knowledgeable, the talented, the gifted, the security, chief of security, Cornelius Sanders-Bey. He will be on show tonight. We're going to be doing the whole Moorish notion breakdown. He's going to explain to us what it is to be a Moor, the process, the steps of becoming a naturalized Moorish American. And he will also be giving us the breakdown and the scoop with, well, and I'm not gonna say the scoop, well, the breakdown with Noble Drew Ali, and tell us, basically what his school of thought was and so forth. And then there will be some other things going on in this conversation. But I brought him on the show today just so our people can have that little bit of knowledge that they're lacking in that area when it comes to the Moorish school of thought and why their thinking is actually prevalent today, and why a lot of our people should actually pay attention to a lot of the things that the Moorish community has to say. So I'm going to bring him onto the show now. Again, this is Cornelius Sanders-Bey. Welcome to the show.
Islam.
Welcome. You look good over there. Great.
Thank you much. Likewise, you're looking definitely good over there also. And just to give you and the viewers a little notion just before I say who I am. When I say Islam, that means peace, because Islam is actually peace. So when I say Islam, I'm saying peace. So peace to all.
Thank you. And I want to proceed, kind of just get right into it with the questions and everything. But before I start questions, I know you have something to say to me.
It's definitely a pleasure to be here. I thank you for having me here on your show. And for those that don't know, I'm Brother Cornelius Sanders-Bey. And before we get into any questions or things of that nature, I would like to first and foremost, I'd like to rise to my highest heights, giving all perfect praise to our Father God Allah, and acknowledging our ancestors, known and unknown, recognizing and naming all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. I would like to remain standing and extend those honors to our National Grand Sheikh, Joe Bratton Bey, all national officials at headquarters in Baltimore, Maryland, all sheikhs, sheikesses, deputy sheikhs, and deputy sheikesses, and all who are watching this. I greet you all with Islam.
Peace. So is this what you have to do every single time? Like anyone comes to you with questions, or before you? Is this something that's typical?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, cuz. No. Before we speak, we always give praise to Allah, and we always give honors, because Allah is the one that sends us the prophets, the divine prophets. They're sent to us by Allah, so we give them honors. And the National Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic. We give honors to him also, because that's my master teacher, and all the sheikhs, sheikesses, deputy sheikhs, and the deputy sheikesses. But the National Grand Sheikh, he's the one that's leading the way and keeping the doors open for us to be able to come through and be able to, to acquire nationality and learn the things that we need to learn. So we give honors.
What exactly is a sheikh and a sheikesses? For those who don't know.
A sheikh and a sheikess is basically like a higher degree.
Mm-hmm.
A higher degree. So it's something, a person, their words, works, and deeds is where they end up. They end up to be a sheikh or sheikess.
A sheikh or a sheikess. So obviously the sheikess is a female?
Yes.
Okay. So the first question I have to ask you is, Well, I really want you to break down Noble Drew Ali's school of thought. What was his school of thought?
Okay, well, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, his school of thought basically was, his purpose was to teach people to be themselves and nobody else.
To be themselves.
Indeed, and to teach us to love instead of hate, because you have to someone has to teach you how to hate. We're automatically born. Love is the highest degree known to man, and we've been taught to hate. So his school of thought was, his main purpose was to teach people to be themselves and to teach us to learn how to love instead of hate.
Was Noble Drew Ali a Muslim?
Was Noble Drew Ali a Muslim? Noble Drew Ali was actually a Moorish American. He was a Hebrew Muslim, because we're all Hebrew Muslims. Yeah, we're Hebrew Muslims of Moorish descent, and he was a Moorish American.
Some of these questions I'm asking you are questions from my followers. I actually collected questions from people, and they are asking me to ask you these questions. So
that's fine.
Bear with me. Yeah, so bear with me.
I will bear with you. I will bear with you as long as you bear with me.
So explain to us, what's the difference between a Muslim, which is M-O-S-L-E-M, correct?
Yes.
And a Muslim, M-U-S-L-I-M.
Well, the difference would be a Muslim is over here in the West, we're Muslims, and over in the East, they're Muslims.
So there's really no difference, just the way of the spelling or the way of the pronunciation. What caused the change?
Well, it's something that's always come up, and it's been coming up, and Muslims, they follow the divine creed, they follow the religion of Islam, and Muslims, we follow the divine creed of Islam. So the Islam, the original Islam, which is the ancient Islam. It's peace.
Got you. So let's move on real quick to the Circle 7, Quran.
Okay.
Can you please explain to us exactly what the Circle 7 Quran is and what does it stand for? Why is that circle around the 7? Why did you all choose the colors, or why did Noble Drew Ali choose those colors to present on the Circle 7 Quran? What does it stand for?
Okay. Well, the 7 is a divine number. 7 is the sign of perfected man. The 7th letter of the alphabet is G. That would be God, is Allah. And the circle is also important because you can't see where it starts or where it ends. Where it will start is where it will end, and where it end is where it will start. So we give that a circle is 360 degrees. 3 plus 6 is 9. That's complete. 9 is the number of completion. So this is the Circle 7 Holy Quran right here. This is what it looks like.
Sounds like mathematics to me. That's what it sounds like.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. So this
it sounds like supreme mathematics.
So this is the Circle 7 Holy Quran right here. So I'll just read the cover. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, divinely prepared by the Prophet, by the noble Prophet Drew Ali, by the guiding of his Father God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his Father God Allah. So this is what this is. So and just the red and the blue is a sign of life. The red and the blue is a sign of life, because when oxygen hits with your blood, when the air hits it, it turns red. When it's in your veins, it's blue. So this all but right here symbolizing life. He was alive when life he was alive when this was made, when he made the Circle 7 Holy Quran. Islam.
Okay. And is there anything like in that Circle 7 Quran that I mean, evidently that Quran is important to you all. But is there any message in that Quran that you feel the need to deliver to us, the people who are listening and watching right now? Is there a certain message in there?
Okay, I'll definitely do that. I read something from one of the pages. It's the beginning pages, and I'll read it. It says it says, know thyself and thy father God Allah. The genealogy of Jesus with 18 years of events, life, works, and teachings in India, Europe, and Africa. These events occurred before he was 30 years of age. These secret lessons are for all those who love Jesus and desire to know about his life, works, and teachings. Dear readers, do not falsely use these lessons. They are for good, peace, and happiness for all those who love Jesus. Dear mothers, teach these lessons to your little ones that they may learn to love instead of hate. Dear fathers, by these lessons, you can set your house in order and your children will learn to love instead of hate. The lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity. As I am a prophet and the servant is worthy of his hire, you can receive this pamphlet at expense. The reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. And when the time appointed by Allah, they loosened the keys and freed these secrets. And for the first time in ages, have these secrets been delivered in the hands of the Muslims of America. All authority and rights of publishing of this pamphlet in 1927. So, what I want to add to that, I mean, because I mean, it's a lot to, it's vast, and it's something, there's something in here in this Holy Quran Circle 7 for the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's for it's amazing. It shows you and teaches you how to be a better man. It teaches and shows you how to be a better woman. It helps you with your children. It's all those things, and then just in life in general, to be a better person, and to really look at things and to get to know yourself and your Father God Allah. So I mean, it's more to it than that. I couldn't possibly explain it all because I definitely don't know it all.
Well, just for those who are watching, listen, I want to say something. Cornelius Sanders-Bey is my family. As many of you all know, I am not a religious person. I am not tied to religion in any way. Many of you all know that I am Earth. I am a 5%er, but I did want him on this show because, like I said in the beginning, peace. Like I said in the beginning, there are lessons that the Moorish community can teach us. We can all learn from each other in one way or another. But I will say this. There's a question, well, actually someone stated in the comments that the Circle 7 Quran has been plagiarized. And that it came from the Levi Dowland's book called the Aquarian Gospel. Are you familiar with that?
I'm familiar with that. There are two parts from the Circle 7 Holy Quran that actually penned from one book and another book, which Noble Drew Ali got it from, and then the last 4 chapters he penned those himself. So that I wouldn't say plagiarized, but I mean it's known that where he compiled the books from to get what he compiled to make the Circle 7.
So you wouldn't call it plagiarized at all?
No.
Not at all? He just kind of borrowed the information and
Well,
did he give credit?
I would say he compiled it.
He compiled it. But
Yeah.
did he actually give credit to where it was due from in the Circle 7 Quran, or did he just put it all together as if he wrote it?
No, he did. I wouldn't say. I just explained. If he
Yeah,
said
he
he wrote
compiled it.
it, if he would have said he wrote it, then I would have said, well, it is known that he wrote it. But I didn't say that. I said I understand and I know exactly what that person is stating. But yeah, it was compiled from two books, and the last 4 chapters he penned those himself.
Okay, I heard you when you said that, but my thing is this something that someone had to figure out on their own through their own research and so forth, or did he actually put that in the book, like this came from this book and so forth? Or is this something that people had to find out on their own?
Well, he didn't put it in the book, but all the master teachers, everyone knows that.
Everyone knows this.
Yeah, it's not a secret.
Okay, so I want to get into something else.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this isn't a question from no one. This is actually something from me, because you had said something. You had said, the book, the Circle 7 Quran, is to make you a better person.
Yes.
And I believe that to be true. Most religious, books are to do that for their community. Now, they say the same thing about the Bible, that the Bible is to make you a better person. The Bible is to teach lessons and teach you morals and values and so forth. Now, and the same thing with the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say they're all the same?
Well, well, I'll put it to you like this. The book, the Circle 7, the Holy Quran is talking about the same people, and not just this book, the same people in the Bible, the same people in the Holy Quran of Mecca. They're all talking about the same people.
They're all talking about the same people.
They're all talking about the same people. And then not only that, with the Holy Quran, what I just want to just kind of be clear on is we're not religious people. You see what I'm saying? We're spiritual. We deal with this. We deal with the spirit. You're taught religion. We're born with a spirit. We've been disconnected from the spirit. We've been disconnected from the spirit. So by that being the case, this book right here teaches you and lets you know about your spirit,
But would you, speaking on spirits, and you're not religious, and you said you're a spiritual people, but praising, you called, Father Allah, who you're speaking of, that one entity, the person who created all you're speaking of, wouldn't you consider that as a religious term?
Well, you said would I consider that a religious term?
Because it is religious to praise an unknown, unseen entity.
You said it. I don't agree. I don't necessarily agree with that, because I mean, I don't agree with that as far as that being religious as me praising Allah, me rising to my highest heights and praising to Allah. That wouldn't be
But
religious.
you said you're not religious, but you're spiritual. So that's actually technically like praising a spook, an invisible person, and a ghost. A ghost.
Well, I don't see it in that way. I don't see it in that way at all.
Okay. I just wanted to see how you see it. Do you see him as or him as do you believe that Allah, the person that you're praising, do you believe that Allah was once here? Do you believe this person was once a human being on earth that transcended up into the universe or wherever Allah might have be right now?
I believe, and I come to know that Allah is that creator, the mother, father, God of everything everything that's in existence. So for me to say that Allah was a human and was here, I would be speaking of something that's unknown to me. So I say I know that there's a Father God, and I know that there's a creator of everything, the universe, and everything that's in it. And that's who I pray. That's who I give my praises to.
I respect that. I just wanted to know your 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 outlook on that, because someone did ask me if you all, but I actually, when me and you actually had our own little dialogue, I did ask you the same question, but someone wanted to know, did you believe in Jesus? Do Moorish Americans believe in Jesus? So that was a question, and I just received another question in as well. But someone wanted to know if you believe in Jesus.
Do I believe in Jesus? Yes, we
Yeah.
believe in we believe in Jesus. We believe in Jesus, the Nazarite, the Nazarene part of himself, because see what it is Jesus is Jesus was a prophet of Allah, and the great God, the Creator, great God Allah, He always sent a prophet to His people that looked like Him. See, so if we're gonna if you're gonna send us a prophet, the prophet gonna look like us. So I understand when you say Jesus, and you refer to the pale skinned guy hanging on a cross and the pitching on people's houses and things of that nature. I understand that completely. But what I'm saying is, I'm speaking of Jesus, the Jesus that we're not even taught about, because
Right.
there is a Jesus, and the Jesus that we're connected to, the Jesus that we're connected to, is actually of the same bloodline as we are. And if you want, I can basically connect the dots just to give you a little bit of overstanding about it. So in our keys, our 101s, key 6 says, what is a prophet? A prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in the flesh. Says key 7, what is the duty of a prophet? The duty of a prophet is to save nations from the wrath of Allah. And here's where I'm going to tie everything in. Key 27, where you give in brief the line genealogy through which Jesus came. Some of the great fathers through which Jesus came are Abraham, Boaz by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and Joseph by Mary. So when I break down the genealogy, and it says, and our prophet Noble Joe Ali shows us and gives us the genealogy of some of the fathers through which Jesus came. Now, what's gonna connect it is, I'm gonna go to Act 6, which is our master degree. I'm gonna go to the 5th tier, and it says, the Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. So we know this right here, these over here where we at right now, this is the northwestern, southwestern shores of Africa. So when we say when we say the descendants of the ancient Moabites, the definition for descendant is people in later generations who are related to them. One whose descent can be traced to a particular individual or group. So Jesus of Nazareth is all in the family, and He is our brother, Jesus of Nazareth.
Hmm. Okay. I have another more. That's a question, or actually stated something. So I'm gonna ask you. I'm just gonna kind of change the question around, because he said it to me, but it's more like a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you separating yourself from Allah? Because he is saying that you are Him and He is you, so you are one.
Am I separating myself from Allah?
Yes.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Okay. All right. So that was something that was brought to my attention. All right. So I want to move on to my question now, since we done got that out the way. Let me see. No, matter of fact, let's get to this one right here. For those who might be interested, what is the process of becoming naturalized?
Okay.
And why is it important to be naturalized too?
For those that might be interested,
Yes.
the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, requires from everyone desiring to proclaim their nationality to fill out and complete an application for Moorish American citizenship and 3-course registration forms for each of the Moorish School and Law History courses. You can visit our website at www.moorishamericannationalrepublic.com and download the application and registration forms. These forms will have the full instructions, requirements, and prerequisites for the classes. And why is it important to be naturalized? Was that your question?
Yes.
It's important to be naturalized. It's important to be naturalized because, first of all, we by proclaiming your nationality, which is naturalization, the root word to naturalization is natural. And I'll give you the lawful definition of naturalization, which is coming from the Black Laws Dictionary, 5th edition. Naturalization, the process by which a person acquires nationality after birth and becomes entitled to the privileges and citizenship. So we want to come back into being a human being and being naturalized. And when I say naturalized, I don't mean the naturalization that they have here, the 14th Amendment, people that come here from other places that come over and they get naturalized and become citizens. They're becoming the citizens that people that are not naturalized, that's all they're doing. But even then, when they go through that, they have to proclaim their nationality also. So if they're Italian, they would go through the naturalization process and become Italian American. So it's important for us because not only that, we honor our forefathers and mothers by proclaiming our nationality. Because with you not being naturalized, you know that's a disrespect and a sin. I don't want to say disrespect. That's a sin. And when I say sin, I didn't say a crime. I said a sin. So a sin, that means that's against the great God of law for us not being naturalized and walking around without a nationality and honoring our forefathers and mothers because they didn't call themselves Black, Negro, colored, or anything. Those were marks that were placed upon them.
Got you. So are we Moors by birthright, or do we actually have to go to the Moorish Science Temple to become a Moor?
Well, we're all born as Moors. There's some that are conscious of it, and there's some that are unconscious. You know, you can't become a Moor. I mean, we're already born Moorish. We're born Moorish. That's in the bloodline. So, with that being stated, we were born into this man's society where we were born without a nationality, a race, a religion. We was born with none of that. So, the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, is that vessel, that place where you can go and go through the lawful process and proclaim your nationality lawfully and live your life and live as who you are and be who you are, known throughout the government, the nations, and the states, and wherever else it is.
Okay. You know, I highlighted something. This person, Levon Howell, do you see the highlight?
Yes.
Can you answer that question for him?
What is it?
If pork was all that was left to consumers, would you starve to death in the name of Allah or Jesus?
Well, in the name of Allah or Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, first of all, if pork was the only thing that there was to eat, and that was all that there was for me to eat, of course I'm gonna eat it. I'm not gonna wither away or starve. And for that matter, that's between me and the great God Allah. It doesn't have anything to do with anyone else. But Allah's not gonna allow me to, Allah's not gonna say to you, well, expect you to go hungry and starve yourself to death if that's all that there is to eat. A common sense mind would say, listen, that's all it is to eat. I can't get anything else. I'm gonna eat something to sustain myself.
So you'll eat it. That's just that.
If that's
Point blank period.
if that's the only thing that's left to eat, that's what you said. That was the question. If that was the
That's
only
what he
thing,
said, yeah.
if that was the only thing else to eat, of course I'm gonna eat it.
All right. So let's get to the next question then. From me, that is. Thank you for answering those questions so, clearly, and you just got straight to the point. All right. How long have you been in the circle, been a Circle 7 Moor? And And how was the process? How has it made you a better person since then? Tell us that, tell us about that.
Okay. All my life I have been. However, I became conscious on the date of October 28th, 2017. That was about 2.5 years ago. I wasn't conscious of my identity. I wasn't conscious of my identity before that. So it's a very interesting question, and I'm glad you raised this question. I have to say it's very profound too. So listen, it was in 2016. It was breaking news on the television. I was watching Family Feud, making dinner. Barack Obama was about to be leaving the office. The killings in Texas were happening. And I was just about to change the channel because I said, and I said it out loud, I said, he don't never say anything to black people or for black people. All of a sudden, he said, you'll be glad to know I signed the rights for indigenous people. I said, what? Who are they? I'm saying, who are they? So I grabbed a pen and wrote that down because I wanted to find out exactly who he was talking about. So I grabbed a pen and wrote that down. Then what he said next is what made me take the necessary steps. And this is what changed my life. He said people need to proclaim their nationality. I wrote that down. Then he went back to his regular talk. I looked up indigenous people. It said original or earliest known inhabitants of an area. I realized that throughout history, we were told the Indians was here, and the Pilgrims is the one that killed them and things of that nature. So I started looking up. It took me 7 days. I kept looking up proclaim your nationality. I seen many different websites, and I was very confused. Some were similar in name. Some seemed the same to me. One particular group or person had my attention, which was Tariq Bey. I mean, I never seen someone look like me speak in that manner. Then I was going to send the money, and for some reason, I ran into some roadblocks, but something wasn't right. I started to feel. I watched some more, and when I paid attention to the demonstration of when you get pulled over, I knew then that I was in the wrong place. Then he said, you have to declare your nationality. I said, this is definitely not what Barack Obama was talking about. And I'm not talking bad about nobody in their organization, but that was and is not for me. I found out that we are Moors. So I started to look up Moorish Science Temple near me. And that is when I found the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic. I became conscious that I didn't have a nationality, and I found out what Obama was actually saying. So this is a truth I found out, because the truth does three things: set you free, make you free, and keep you free when you know it. And now is the time to stay free.
All right, then. So with this process of you, I guess, taking those steps to become a Moor, to be naturalized, that is,
Yeah.
has the society, including the law and the people in your community that you live in, have you seen a difference in the way people treat you?
Oh, it's a big difference. And when I say this, as far as when it comes to the law as we know it, well, when I was unconscious, when I got conscious, and then, like I said, I went through the process, and I learned that those things actually are unconstitutional. The laws that they use on the citizens is unconstitutional. And by me proclaiming my nationality has put me in a better place, because before I proclaimed my nationality, I didn't have a voice. I didn't have any rights. I didn't have no rights. I mean, we look at the Dred Scott case in 1857. It was a Supreme Court ruling. They ruled that the black man ain't got no rights, the white man's bound to respect. So, along with a couple of other things, but in this present day, it's been, and I can't even explain it or stress it enough. But this day and age and time, from me going through the process that I went through to now, I've 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 been respected. And I mean, when they see me, I get a wave, a response. There's some people that'll sit and talk to me because they want to, they're curious, they want to know. And I talk to any and everybody. And just knowing who I am and knowing who my ancestors are, and by me knowing that, and I can demonstrate that, and I can walk it, and I can talk it, and I can live it, and I sleep it, and I eat it. It's a beautiful thing.
That's peace. That's peace. Um, I have another question to ask you. That
Yeah.
was I noticed myself, but it was actually presented to me again. Why are there so many different Moorish denominations?
Well, that's very interesting because I myself, I say to myself a lot. There's a lot of different Moorish groups, and history and the present is deep in the past. And when our honorable prophet Noble Jew Ali, when he transitioned to the plane of soul, it was a great split in different way. Different people went different ways, and no different than how anything else happens. And I want to connect this to you now, because what you said, I want to get back to it. So when you had stated that you're part of you're with the gods in the earth, which I respect that to the highest, because I was in that school of thought also myself, for 8 years, for build to destroy years. I have nothing but respect for the five. And but when I came to the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, it was then that I learned that Prophet, the Honorable Prophet Noble Jew Ali, every he's the only one that brought Islam over here to these shores. So he brought that over here. Elijah Muhammad was under him. Ward Fard, he was under him, and all of it was so even though you're in the gods of the nation of the gods in the earth, that's actually the science that is nothing but more science, but it came from Prophet Noble Jew Ali. They just got a piece of it. Everyone got pieces and different pieces here and there, but it's all one and the same. Islam.
Okay. I'm not going to debate with you right now.
It's not.
Not right now. Not right
It's not.
now. It's not for a debate.
It's
I know
not.
you're
I
going
mean,
to say that, cuz.
I mean, it's
But
not. It's not. It's not. It's not a debate. We could talk about it. I mean,
no,
I
I'm not.
want you. I want you
I
to know.
actually, I actually want to go through the questions I have for you first, and I'll go back because I am listening and I remember everything you're saying. So, and I write down everything. So I have other questions now.
Okay.
But what denomination of the Moorish community you belong to?
What denomination?
Hmm.
When you say denomination,
What sect? What group? What Moorish group do you belong to? Because there are different groups.
I'm an active member of the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic.
You said that over and over again. So that's one place.
Yeah.
That's one group right there.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. Because I've
What
definitely heard you say
that's
that several
that,
times.
that's one temple.
All right. So, all right. Here we go. Okay. Someone's giving the address to number 13. Yeah. Another Moor on here giving
Huh?
the address. No, someone's just giving the information to the number 13 in Baltimore. All right. So I have a question. First, before I get to this one, someone stated, someone asked, they basically wanted, let me put it on the screen for you and I'll let you read it.
Okay, that's an interesting question. I believe I see. I just don't want to move the phone, but I believe I can. Can you
Can I
translate for
go into? Okay,
please?
so
Please?
he wants to know. He's saying that basically the science or the science that you're dropping actually comes from the Greeks, right? And he's saying that was our proper way. So he's saying how can you base your ideology from a Bible aspect, which was made to enslave us? He's saying that the Moorish ideology, I guess Noble Drew Ali's train of thought, came from the Greeks, which was essentially made to enslave us. So he wants to know how can you, base that. How can you base your ideology off of something that wasn't that was actually created to enslave us? And he also wants to know how does it benefit us if you're moving off a book that was created to enslave us. And he compiled all these different books, 4 different books, I believe you said, right? How many? How many different books was it?
You asking me?
Yeah, you. How many
I
different books
don't.
did he put into the Circle 7 Quran?
Oh, there was 2.
2 different books.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's right. And the last 4 chapters was him, you said.
Yeah.
So he took those 2 books and he put them into the Circle 7 Quran. So this man is saying that this actually comes from the Greeks and that it's a Bible. It's a Bible that was made to enslave
Well,
us.
all right. So when he's saying it came from the Greeks, so what if you're gonna say it, then I mean you got to have the proof to say that it came from the Greeks, because how could it come from the Greeks when we were here before the Greeks? How could it come from the Greeks if we was here before the Greeks? And when it comes to the Bible, there's 2 different ways. The Bibles, they teach the Bible, they use it what you call exoterically, which they don't explain anything. They just use it to control people and have them thinking, well, Mary was a virgin and, she mysteriously got pregnant by a spirit and didn't have a child. Well, we know esoterically, there's 2 different ways, and people are not taught esoterically about the Bible. I understand that the Bible is definitely a mixture of truth and falsehood, but if you know who you are and you know exactly what you're looking for and you know the science, then you would be able to read and understand what's being demonstrated in the Bible, which is just a history book. And the Bible is basically based upon a certain group of people. The same certain group of people that the Bible was based off of is the same people that are sitting right here in your face, which is me and you. So that's what the Bible is based off of. And the benefit of the Holy Quran Circle 7 is the fact that you're able to be in tune and get in tune with yourself. Know thyself. The first thing when you open is know thyself and thy Father God Allah. It's not telling you to know anything else. It's telling you know thyself and thy Father God Allah. Because once you know yourself, you're gonna know everything else.
All right, so let's move on to the next question. Before I go back to the comments. So my next question to you is what exactly are the constitutional rights and why is it important for us to know the constitutional rights?
Okay.
And this is for the people who do not know what the constitutional rights are, because I do have people that are tuning in from different places. So
Okay.
break that down to us, please.
Okay. I'm for that I'm gonna go into our prophet, our illustrious Hebrew prophet Noble Drew Ali came out with a warning in 1928, which is the national side of the movement, and I'm gonna go into the warning. It says the citizens of all free national government, according to their national constitutions, of all family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirable and are subject to all inferior names, abuses, and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and to cling to the names and principles that delude to slavery. So when I say that right there, we don't have no constitutional rights as being classified as Black people, Negroes, African American, colored, etc. It's important to know the early form of government, which was the Union, which consisted of 35 Moors and 20 European sons. Our ancestors were in a majority, which further matured into the Articles of Association, October 20th, 1774, which further matured into the Declaration of Independence, July 4th, 1776. They were declaring their independence from us. Remember, our ancestors were already here and had a government set up. We brought them into our house, which then further matured into the Articles of Confederation, November 15th, 1777, which further matured into the United States Constitution. So those are the national constitutions right there. And most people, and we don't know. I don't know. I didn't know none of that. I didn't have a clue. I didn't know any of that. So with that being stated, the first 7 articles to the United States Constitution is our foundation in government. The 10 Bill of Rights, the 4 Emancipation Proclamations by President Abraham Lincoln, September 22nd, 1862, the Confiscated Emancipation Proclamation, December 1st, 1862, the Supplemental Emancipation Proclamation, January 1st, 1863, and the Oath of Amnesty and Reconstruction in his 3rd annual message to Congress on December 8th, 1863. And also in the Senate on March 31st, 1864, there was a debate about the whole slavery issue. And I remarked, said he, in connection with the Levitical Code or Hebrew law, contains a provision for the naturalization of foreigners, we're not foreigners, whether captives of war, which there was a civil war going on, and we were captives of that war, or voluntary immigrants, which we are not. By compliance with the requirements of this law, they become citizens entitled to all the rights and privileges and immunities of the native Hebrews. So what I'm gonna do is to connect it for you. When I said the Levitical Code, and I know you said something in regards to the Bible, but I'm gonna bring it home with what I'm trying to connect the dots to. So I'm gonna read Leviticus 25:10, which is inscribed on the Liberty Bell housed in Philadelphia that sits on the 3630. That's the Levitical Code, the Hebrew law. And it says, and ye shall hallow the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be a jubilee unto you, and ye shall return every man unto his possession, and ye shall return every man unto his family. So with that saying, that's the Liberty Bell that's in Philadelphia. Everybody know that. Everybody know where that's at. It's a Liberty Bell, and that's inscribed on the Liberty Bell, Leviticus 25:10. So by that being the case, I'm going to connect. Give me 1 second. I'm going to connect Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4 to the United States Constitution, which states to establish a uniform rule of naturalization, inclusive of the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections, which enforce the 4 Emancipation Proclamations, which was ratified November 18th, 1865 by 3/4 of the several states. The root word in natural is natural. We want to be natural. And it's important to know the constitutional laws because we are on paper, we are free on paper. But you see the game that's being played. Our illustrious Hebrew prophet Noble Drew Ali let us know in the warning in 1928 that it is a sin which is against God Allah to call ourselves the names that delude to slavery. And by proclaiming our nationality, we honor our forefathers and mothers.
All right, now we have a first Zaid Bey. This is what he put in the comments. So I believe he wants you to answer that question.
Which question?
Member, resurrector, sheik, assistant, grand sheik, or sheik?
He's asking me, am I?
I believe that's what he's asking.
I'm a member.
I remember. That's the answer to your question there. Now, you mentioned who is Sheikh Claude Green Bay?
Who is who?
Who exactly is that? Sheikh Claude Green Bay.
Sheikh Claude Green Bay. You said I mentioned him?
No, someone else did.
Sheikh Claude who?
Green Bay. Are you familiar with this person?
Is he somebody that's prevalent, that's relevant, that's alive and living?
I don't know who he is.
I mean, if the person is
I have no clue who he is.
So ask the person, is the person...
Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me see right now. Because I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with this person, who he is. So we'll go on to the next question from there.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'll figure out who exactly this person is. I'm not sure why. Who is this person? 1 second. I want to know why that was a question. All right, right here. Here goes another question.
How can we be Moors when the first Moors was...
Well, Berbers, which were white, Caucasians.
Well, I'll just answer that as best as I can. I don't know that. No, first of all, and Moors can't be Caucasian, and we all basically are Asiatics. It's two races. It's Asiatic or you're European. That's what it is. So it there couldn't there ain't no there that wouldn't even fly. That wouldn't even that wouldn't even be so. I mean, there's only two races subdivided into many. So we being either you Asiatic or you're European.
Either you're Asiatic or you're European.
Yes.
But even Europeans were carbon melanated people before Caucasians were created.
Well,
so
when I say Europeans, pale skin Europeans, to be specific.
Pink people. Okay.
I don't know about...
All right. The pinkies. Yeah. Okay. I got you. I got you. Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure you kind of you was more clear on that, because we all know that we was in every corner of the earth before Caucasians were here. So
and
that includes Europe. Yes.
And the original people of Europe is us.
Facts. All right. So I just want to make sure, all right. So, but you're saying though that what you're telling me right now is that the Moors, or answering this person's question, the Moors were not Caucasian first.
Not at all. That couldn't even make sense. I mean, we're the first original people of everywhere. So for the person asking the question, I mean, I would just say, if you could basically just try to do a little bit more research, and you'll be able to get a little bit more around and finding out what it is that you're looking for. But Moors are not Caucasian. That couldn't be.
All right. All right. So let's move on to one more other question before I get back to mine.
Okay.
All right. We have a lot of questions in here, a lot of comments. Someone said that, oh, hold on. A lot of people, there's not a lot, but there's quite a few people who believe that Moors have questionable history, and they come with a lot of different stories. Now, I'm thinking this is my what I have to say about that. I feel the same way about most religions, especially the Christian denominations, because they all have different kind of stories going on. So that could be why this person is saying that. But what do you think about that? About your history being questionable, and how there's so many different stories when it comes to the Moorish history.
So let me get this. Can you say that one more time, please?
The person, okay, a few people in the comments are saying there's different stories, questionable history, and so forth with Moors.
Well, all right.
And
Well, go ahead.
yes, no, I was going to say I'm going to reiterate what I said is I understand where they're coming from because I feel that same way about the Christians. There's a lot of different stories because they have so many different denominations, and none of them really see eye to eye. You know, one believes one way, another one believes another way, and just so much, and they're all Christians. They all follow Christ,
Okay.
except for one person, I guess, puts Mary above Christ or whatever way that goes. But I believe that's why a lot of the people are saying what they're saying, because there's different Moorish groups and they have different beliefs and they have different stories as to what a Moor is in the history and the foundation of a Moor.
All right. Well, I'll tell you like this. It depends on where it would depend on where the information is coming from, and not only that, it would depend. Now, when somebody is, man don't know by being told. All right, I could tell you all of this. All these things I could tell you, but that doesn't mean you know it. So when it comes to you knowing something, you have to be able to connect the dots. You got to if you can't connect the dots to it, then that lets you know that something ain't real, and you got to question everything. So when I came into the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, our National Grand Sheikh always told us, make sure you research everything I say, everything you get, research it on your own to make sure that it's, and everything I've researched, I found more stuff that connected me to it. And then that became my truth, because now I did the footwork to find out, to make sure that what I was internalizing was actually the truth. Because if you can't connect it to nothing, it's not the truth. So, and then when you said you feel that way about the Christians, well, the Moors and the Christians, I mean, just for time's sake, when you say the Moors, I mean, you're talking about Christians. The Moors, that's our nationality, and you're talking about Christians, that's their religion. So that's kind of like apples and oranges right there. So when you say the Christians, like what people, when you say the Moors and you say the Christians, so you would have to say, well, what are the people that you calling the Christians? What are the people? Because you said Moors.
Apples and oranges.
Well, yeah, apples and oranges, because you said the Moors and you said you feel the same way about the Christians. So I'm
More
saying
like oranges and tangerines. I just had to make a joke. I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah. All right. Let's get back to it. You know me. I had to make a joke here. Apples and oranges. How about some oranges and tangerines? Okay. So, but I hear what you're saying, though. Seriously, I hear what you're saying. You're saying that they're a religion, and this is who y'all are. This is y'all nationality. So I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. I might not agree with everything you're saying, but I do get what you're saying. I do. So
I appreciate you for that.
Yeah, I do, definitely. So someone actually broke down to me who exactly the Claude what's his name? Let's get to his actual name. Sheikh Claude Green.
Oh, well, I know I had a feeling that that's what the person was talking about. And I do from reading literature and things of that nature, I do recall who that name was and is. And I mean, I can't really speak on it because I wasn't there, and I'm pretty sure the person that's brought the name up, they wasn't there. So I really can't speak too much as far as speak on that, because I'm not really, I mean, I just about as what he knows or the person knows that's asking the question is about what I know. And I believe I know what he was referring to by bringing that name up or saying that, which, I mean,
what was he referring to?
He was
What do you
actually,
think he was referring to?
well, it wasn't no thing. I mean, it was somebody that was involved in the temple that had something happen between him and someone in the temple and things of that nature.
Did he steal Noble Drew Ali's money?
I mean, I couldn't tell you. I wasn't there. I mean,
And was messing with one of his wives?
That's what the stories say.
So the story says. Okay. Are you aware that he also was a butler for a Pinky?
Who?
Julius Ronwald, that guy that stole Noble Drew Ali's money. Claude
No,
Green.
no, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, he was once a butler. I actually looked that part up because I didn't know who he was. So I went and figured out who this man was. He's tied to Julius Rosenwald, who is he actually is the co-owner of Sears.
Oh,
You
I
don't
don't
know
know.
nothing about him?
No.
Okay, yeah, he was a butler for that man too, just to let you know. But that's neither here or there. But he was a thief, and yeah, he was a thief, and he was sleeping with Noble Drew Ali's wife, one of his wives. So they say. So I guess this person wanted to know about him. And is there anything else? It has everything to do with race. They're saying. Hold on, we got some more people saying was Egypt then Greek, not Greek then Egypt. Okay. I believe this person's agreeing with you, maybe?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And also, let me see. Here goes something else. Oh, right here. There goes my king. He said that Julius Rosenwald actually created syphilis, and he funded it.
Okay. I'm if I don't know, I'm
You
gonna
don't.
tell
You
you.
have no clue who he is. All right.
I never really went into the depths of the situation and the person, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. I have no clue who he is either, but that was new information for me, and I guess now everyone else knows about this.
I mean,
Both of these guys.
I'm
Yeah.
always for new information.
All right, so let's go. Zoe wonder Greeks didn't conquer Egyptian. Zoe, okay, Greeks didn't conquer I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna have to ignore some of these comments. I'm sorry, you all, because I can't understand what you were actually saying. You're not really writing properly, so I can't understand. But I believe that a couple of these people are agreeing with you as far as the Moors being here first, well, being in Africa first before the Greeks. I believe that's what I'm reading here, which is true. Since you're saying that the Moors have originally always been original people, so that's obviously true. So that's neither here or there either. All right, it says Arab. Here we go. Here goes another question. Barber is a desert dweller. It has nothing to do with a race or pedigree. So a Chinese could be a desert dweller, aka Arab Barber. Whites can't be Moors. Do you agree? Obviously.
I mean, and basically just said what was, basically, but just just a little something. The Chinese are actually they're in the same bloodline. They're our relatives anyway.
All right. Okay, so I'm back. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. Esoteric versus exoteric. Lessons, that's the difference. You heard that? Yeah.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So what's the difference between exoteric and esoteric? Because I do have someone that's coming on the show actually on the 25th that is going to be breaking down that science. So what do you say the difference is?
Well, it just what it sounds like. I mean, when you look at it, exoteric is, outward, outward, outward. Esoteric is
Mm-hmm.
more in. Esoteric is in. So when I say exoterically, you know, that means like you're not, you know, like how I put it. How can I say it without, offending anyone? Because that's not what I want. My intention. So exoterically would be, them teaching us, that God is outside of us, and that we had to, that we have to, we have to pray to the sky. That's exoterically. But then when when you're taught that, God is within, and look inside yourself and letting you know all of these things about your spirit and your soul, that's esoterically. So you're making it apply, and you're taking it in, and you're finding yourself in it, and finding the understanding of it, versus you going, okay, well, yeah, go ahead and look to the sky, and things of that nature, and you pray to the sky, and that hell is under the ground and things of that nature. When esoterically we're taught that, and we know that heaven and hell is a state of mind, a state of mind. It's it's a state of mind. You can create. We're the creators. We create our own heaven and hell.
All right. So the Greeks have
that would be my demonstration of esoteric and exoteric.
All right. So I have a question to ask you. Can a Mason be a Moor? And can a Mason join the Moorish the temple?
Listen, and yes, they can. Yes, they can, because he's a Mason. There's nothing that can stop anyone from proclaiming their nationality. Whether you're a Mason or not. I mean, you got most of these judges, priests, pastors. Most of all of them are all Masons. See what I'm saying? And so a Mason can proclaim his nationality.
Okay. All right. That was a question that another Moor brother had to ask about Masons.
Yes.
Can they be a Moor? And are they welcome inside of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
Well, you're saying, can they be a Moor? I mean, like I stated before, we're born.
You're born a Moor.
Yeah,
but can you be naturalized? Will they openly and accept a Mason into the Moorish temple?
Yeah.
They will.
Why not?
Okay. Here we go. Yes. Do you agree?
I don't see that second word.
The esotericism of the Moorish Science Temple is the adept chamber.
You said the exotericism?
Yes.
It says esoteric?
Esotericism.
Okay. I mean, I've never been to the adept chamber.
Mm-hmm.
And I would definitely say that there's definitely some more science and things of understanding on an esoteric level there. Yes.
Any more questions? Do we have any more questions from our viewers and our listeners for Brother Cornelius Sanders-Bey? If you have any more questions, please drop them now, because I will allow him to answer them. He's here and he's willing to answer all questions. In the meantime, in between time, before anyone asks any more questions, are you married?
Am I married?
Are you married?
No, I'm not.
Do you have children?
Yes, I do.
Is your significant other and your children, are they naturalized as well?
Yes.
Yes, they are. The whole family?
Yes, they are.
That's beautiful.
Even my granddaughter.
And how old was your granddaughter?
3 years
It's not like
old.
I don't know. This is my cousin, but I just want y'all to know.
Your
granddaughter is 3 years old.
3 years old, and she knows her nationality. definitely I want to just state while we're sitting here talking in between time, we do have a Sunday call that's open to the public. You can call in at 443-961-4434 at 12 p.m. noon Eastern Standard Time, and you can definitely hear our beautiful angel children demonstrate and demonstrate and show you what they have come to know in their process of learning. It's beautiful.
At what time on Sunday?
On 12 noon. 12 noon.
What's the number? 443?
443-961-4434.
Okay. I'll put that in here for those who might want to call in.
And also you can call that number at 7:30 p.m. on Sunday. And let me go back. On Sundays at 12 noon, we deal with the divine side. Because it's a divine and national movement. So we deal with the divine side earlier in the day, which is 12 noon. And then at 7:30 p.m., you can call that same number. And we have we deal with the national side, dealing with the constitutional laws, things of that nature. And it's all open to the public. Anyone can call in and listen, chime in. And even if you got email, if you got questions you want to send, they have an email too. You can submit your questions at townhall at moorishamericannationalrepublic.com. Hold on one second. Let me get that right.
On Sunday, what exactly will you be speaking about at 12 noon?
12 noon is more on the divine, it's the divine side, dealing with the divine side, because it's a divine and national movement.
All right. Someone else asked a question they must not have heard. I had already asked this question, but I want you to repeat the answer again for those who are just now tuning in. They want to know, why is it so important to be naturalized?
Okay. It's important to be naturalized because, as you can attest, as you can see, as everyone can see, that there's a whole lot of things going on and a lot of things happening to a lot of people. And the reason why that's happening is because the way the people have been classified and identified. Being Black, being African American, being Puerto Rican, Latino, etc. All of those slave brand names, and you've been classified as something that's not even a human. So you want to go through naturalization because you want to be natural. You want to have a free national name, a religion. You want to have all of these things, and you acquire all these things by going through the process of naturalization, which naturalization is the process when that one acquires nationality after birth, because we all were born into this man's society as Black, Negro, colored, and African American. So that will be the importance. And also, you honor your forefathers and mothers by proclaiming your nationality. Because it's a sin. It's a sin for us to walk around without a nationality. That's why they're able to do all the things they do to us. They shoot us down in the street. Trayvon Martin, the guy in Baltimore, the guy in New York with the cigarettes, they choked them out, things of that nature. But I want to say this part too. And once you know who you are and you're able to be yourself, all of those things, it's just certain things you ain't gonna be doing. Like you ain't gonna proclaim your nationality and be sitting on a corner with Ray Ray and them doing all kind of things and then thinking, okay, well, yeah, I can get away with this because I'm a naturalized Moorish American. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. You have to, man says he is who he is. He has no choice but to be who he is. So once you go through this process of naturalization and learning who you are, because right now, the current state of most people, they don't know who they are. They don't know who their ancestors are. So that causes you to be kind of lost. And, you know how it goes. Being programmed, the man that controls your habits controls you. The things we grew up with, seeing and doing and being around, that's all because nobody didn't know who they were. So now you changing everything now. You're changing how you think, you're changing how you eat, You changing how you live. You changing how you see the
Right.
world. You changing how you see your neighbor. You changing how you seeing people out in the street. And it resonates with the universe. So that's why it's important.
So the next question is, I'm gonna put it on the screen. Did you get paperwork when you got naturalized as a Moor that allows you to travel without a driver's license without any issue?
Well, let me answer that. Once you go through the process of naturalization, I did get paperwork. You do get paperwork to correct your status, to correct all those instruments that you had prior to becoming conscious. And as far as driving without a driver's license, I don't drive without we don't subscribe to that. We're law-abiding citizens. And what happens is we don't drive without a driver's license. And I know there's some Moorish groups, and like I said, not talking bad about nobody. I know there's some Moorish groups that that's what they do and that's their thing. And unfortunately, where we are, we're not about that. We're law-abiding citizens, and we do everything correctly so that there's no problems, and we're not breaking no laws and things of that nature, even though the law is being unconstitutional de facto as it is. But we gotta pick and choose our battles wisely, and we choose to adhere to having a driver's license and being law-abiding citizens.
Got you. I had asked you before, but now I want to ask you on the camera, for those who don't know, because I used to wonder all the time about the last name.
Uh-huh.
What does L mean and what does Bey mean? What's the difference? Why do some carry different last names like that?
Okay, so what happens is the ill
Oh, eel.
eel,
All
eel,
right.
which is connected to Elohim, which
Mm-hmm.
would be the lawgivers. That's as in Hebrew. And then Bey is the basically the landlords. Like they enforce the law, the Beys. So basically
Mm-hmm.
and then I know I'm gonna just break it down. I'm gonna go to the Bible real quick. I always like to go to scripture so we can be all right. So I'm gonna go to Nehemiah chapter 7, verse 5. And my God put into my heart to gather together the nobles. The nobles are the eels, and the rulers. The rulers are the Beys, and the people, that they may be reckoned by genealogy. And I found a register of the genealogy of them which came up at the first, and found written therein. So the reason why I go to scripture, because like I told you, this book is a history book, and as long as you're able to be taught and be able to see and do esoterically, you'll be able to understand exactly what this is, what it means. And when I said the nobles are the eels and the rulers are the Beys, so we we definitely in line with scripture and everything that is.
Got you. Well, someone asked a question, but that was already answered. Okay, this is not for you. I'm about to answer the person's question. They asked if your children follow your belief. So I had just asked him that. And yes, the whole family are naturalized Moors. So yeah, they follow his belief, and even all the way down to his granddaughter, who is 3 years old. They all are naturalized Moors. All right. Oh, here we go. Does a Moor have a social security number?
I mean, Yes, because you got to remember, prior to being conscious about my identity, I had a social security card. So now I explain, once we go through the process of naturalization, we go back into the government with our documentations and correct everything that they had, which was before and prior.
So do you still use the social security number, or is that no now? Like, is that something you still use?
I use the social security.
You still use social security
Yeah.
number?
Uh-huh.
You know, that's something that's a lot of people who are not familiar with that, like myself, we hear so many different things. You don't use social security numbers. You don't need a birth certificate. You don't need anything. You don't need an ID. You don't need nothing. You can just go fly off somewhere without any identification. These are the type of things that we hear about. Once we become naturalized, that we just can just do anything without any ID.
Well,
You don't
I
need
mean,
no social security number. We just go driving with a suspended license, because there's really no such thing as suspended license no more. So we can just go drive anywhere and can't nothing be done to us because we are now naturalized Moorish American.
let me interject on that and just state for the record, because we're naturalized Moorish Americans doesn't mean that we can go around doing all kind of things. And for the record, like I stated previously, before being conscious about who I was, I still had these instruments. I had the state ID, driver's license. I had the social security card. So what's going to happen is you have to then go back into that same system and give them your documentation to correct the status and who you are, to reflect who you are. So you have to. There's no, there's. I mean, like I said, I could show you better than I could tell you. I could show you. You see that right there?
I see that a lot.
That's my
Hmm.
driver's license. That's my driver's license.
See, but the one I see,
That's
it doesn't
that's
really. It's not a driver's license though. The card I see that people are always showing
yeah.
on
But
Instagram.
yeah, I know. I heard. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I'm not downing nobody for what they have and things of that nature. But that goes along with what I told you when I first started looking. I was seeing different groups and I was seeing the different things that they were saying. And we don't subscribe to driving without a license. And we're not anti-government because we are the government. Our ancestors had the government here prior to the pale skin, the 13 colonies coming here. So we let them into our house and taught them the laws and taught them things, and then they turned around and flipped it on us. That's it. So
So
we don't go ahead.
okay, real quick, I'm gonna let you finish because I have another question.
Go ahead. I'm
Speaking
finished.
about this, all right. So are Moors free from child support?
Our Moors free from child.
Naturalized Moors, do they have to
Are they,
pay child support? Are they free?
are they free
Do
from?
they owe any money?
I mean, you gotta. It's kind of that situation right there is kind of tricky, and I just want to say prior to, if you had those issues prior to being a Moor, I mean, being a naturalized Moor, I mean, quite naturally, I mean, it's not something that we don't, first of all, we don't subscribe to. You have to take care of your offspring. But as far
Mm-hmm.
as the child support, we know it to be true. We know it to be unconstitutional, and that's just not from being a naturalized Moorish American. I mean, there's documentation, there's cases, there's things out there that's already ruled and said that it was unconstitutional, in cases that ruled on it. So I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't. Like I just don't want people to get the idea that because you're a naturalized Moorish American that you don't, you could just do whatever you want to do and things of that nature. No, we have more responsibility because there's laws we have to adhere to. We have a divine constitution and bylaws that we have to adhere to, and we definitely have to govern ourselves. So, we definitely, you definitely would have to take care of your offspring. But as far as child support goes, we know that that's unconstitutional, and that's not, that's a person don't got to be a naturalized Moorish American to know that.
Okay, so because it's unconstitutional, does that mean once you become naturalized Moor, does that mean because you know it's unconstitutional and you just went over what the constitutional rights are, does that mean that you guys are now clear and free from back child support?
Well, I don't want to say that and get to send the wrong idea. I know I read everything about the Constitution and things of that nature, but what I'm saying to you is somebody that has that issue going on right now and they're not naturalized as a Moorish American, they can still challenge that and still get that done and dealt with, and it doesn't have anything to do with being a naturalized Moorish American. But as far as naturalized Moorish Americans, no, we don't. We don't pay child support
You don't
because
adhere to that.
I
Yeah.
mean, that would be unconstitutional.
All right.
But
Do you have a passport?
excuse me,
Do you have a passport?
do I have a passport? I don't have. I
Yes.
currently don't have a passport.
Do you need a passport?
Um, I would say yes.
You would say yes. So
Yes.
you're not so really you're not free to just go anywhere around the world because you became a naturalized Moor.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to. I don't like I'm saying. I don't want to send the wrong idea and the wrong message because people, like I said, there's a lot of things that's being said. Oh, because you're a naturalized Moorish American, you can go do this, you can go do that, you can go do this. We're still law-abiding citizens, and if we was to need a passport to travel to another country, then a passport would be something that we would get. But for us, we would be in another country, they would know that we're Moorish Americans, and they would know that we're not U.S. citizens as a regular person would be a U.S. citizen. That would be the difference. So of course there would be a different treatment. I mean, of course, if I'm in if I'm in Morocco or Barbados or Jamaica and I got on my fez, they automatically know. I mean, they're gonna know there's something different about me, and they know, and I'm not gonna get treated like someone that's not. You get where I'm coming from?
Hmm.
So it has its perks.
So there was something that I noticed as well with many naturalized Moors. You'll see pictures of them, kind of showboating at hotels, drinking champagne, money against their ear, or whatever, saying that they done came across all this money from becoming a Moor. Here, look at this. And they're showing this has nothing on it, but they'll show this is what you need to do. You go here and you go sign up for this or whatever, and then you'll have what I have because I'm a naturalized Moor and I have all this land. I got all this money. Look at my jewels. They're showing the jewelry, the watches and all that stuff they got going on because they're a naturalized Moor. Now, like I said before, and I asked before about why there's so many different, sects or groups.
Mm-hmm.
Is this like a certain type of group of Moors that get this type of privilege where they're getting all this money, or is this some type of front, that they're putting on for social media to maybe hustle other people for off of money, because they are saying, hey, it costs this much, $200, $300, $400, whatever it is that they're saying it costs for this paperwork, for them to be for us to become a naturalized Moor, and then they guarantee you're gonna have all this money, after you become naturalized.
All I can say is that just
Have you seen that yourself?
I've seen it. I've seen it. Like I told you, I've seen a lot of things before I ended up where I was at, and before I ended up at the Moor Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moor National Republic, and none of that resonated with me. It didn't catch my eyes. Everybody, and see, this is the thing too. Everybody has their own reasons and their own reasons and their own motives behind going through the process of naturalization. And as I explained to you earlier, the reason why I told you the story about how I even came to know anything, I was sitting in my kitchen cooking dinner. So I wasn't, I wasn't looking for. I was going to work, working a 9 to 5, just like everybody else, or should be, or whatever. And I wasn't looking for. I wasn't looking for nothing. I wasn't looking for nothing. I was looking for myself. I was looking for myself. And what I found was, I mean, I told you, my daughter, my granddaughter, her mother, I mean, we've all came into being naturalized Moorish Americans, and being naturalized Moorish Americans. I don't know, I haven't got no money. I don't have anything I can flash to you. I mean, I can, I don't, I can't speak on that because that's not something that I know of, and that's not something that we promote at our temple. Our temple, our temple is just what it is. The
It's just
divine,
what it is.
the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, which is recognized all over the world. And we have a paper trail. We have a paper trail in this government. We have our own. We have our own Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics, which was established in the 40s. And we've been headquartered in Baltimore, Maryland, not too far from the White House. So, it might be a lot of other groups and things of that nature, but not enough. Other groups ain't got the same paper trail that we got in this government, and we are the real deal.
But okay, I hear what you're saying about your group being the real deal. But do you know what particular group that is going about with this money and everything? Because they're clearly frauds. A lot of people are saying that they are frauds.
Oh,
You know,
I don't
know what group that is?
I couldn't. If I knew, I would tell you. I just don't know. I don't know.
All right, because that's some serious, business right there. That's the problem with a lot of our people already, where they're always trying to scam people, scam their own people, getting money out of their own people, and it's not helping the person that they're getting money out of. They're just scamming them, stealing their money and stuff like that, and coming up off of the weak-minded and the people who are trying to I guess you would say, find knowledge of self and get knowledge of self and trying to do better with their lives. And then they're giving these Moors, these quote unquote Moors, their money, and they're coming up big time, riding around they Bentley coupes and, all the other stuff like that. And they're claiming it's because they're a Moor. So I have another question from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they call them renegade dirty Moors. Mm-hmm.
I don't got a Bentley. I don't got a Bentley. I mean, listen, our prophet.
If you get a Bentley,
huh?
Because if you get a Bentley and I'm over here without one, we're gonna have some problems.
Well,
okay.
A Bentley is not gonna do nothing for me, So, but what I wanted to state was, our prophet Noble Drew Ali tells us in our warning from the prophet in 1928. Without your national citizenship by name and principle, you have no true wealth. So you see what I'm saying? You have no true wealth. The jewelry, the cars. I mean, none of that. If they're not registered properly, that none of that means nothing. And there's no true wealth in that if you don't got your national citizenship by name and principle. Like I said, I can go anywhere, and once they come in contact with me, they respect me because they know and they see me. They see my driver's license. They see my nationality ID card. The way I conduct myself, the way I carry myself, the way I speak, it speaks volumes. You see what I'm saying? And that's where the true wealth is. It ain't a Bentley, because if you haven't been naturalized, you haven't lawfully proclaimed your nationality, then everything you own, the government owns it anyway, because you don't even own yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you really have? I have my true wealth already, cuz.
Don't start with me, all right? Because we can go there, all right?
I'm just stating. So,
that's facts, though. You have your true wealth, and wealth is within. Actually, it's not a materialistic thing. Just to put that out there. And a lot of people believe that wealth is something that's materialistic and has something to do with money and so forth, but it's far and beyond that. So I definitely agree with that. You've been a wealthy Man, you've been one.
Yes.
So, here's a question. You know, and I've already asked you something like this before, but this is for him, who is the love of my life. Right here. All right, you see the question?
So
He wants to know, where the heck is Jesus? I want to know too.
Well,
Where is he?
well, it
Where
says
is he? Where his body at? Where's that place where he was buried at? Where is he?
so what I see that question. You said that's the love of your life.
That is.
Okay. Well, there definitely is some proof of that, and you know, we can we could go off the grid on that one. We can go off the
We
grid
want
on
to
that.
know. We want to know, and a lot of people want to know. I want to know, where is it? Where's the proof at? Is the proof in the pudding? If so,
Well,
present that pudding, please.
well, all right. Jesus of Nazareth, Jesus of Nazareth.
Mm-hmm.
He lived to be 102 years old.
Mm.
He had 2 children, and Mary Magdalene was his wife.
Mm.
And he passed away, and he's buried near, I want to say, in Japan. But
Oh boy.
because so I don't really like to, because I know it's going to create another dialogue, and that's why I said we can go off the grid with this. But that's the truth of the story of the one we know to be as Jesus. It's
That's
more to it.
interesting.
It's more to it, but like I said, it ain't something I could just talk about in a brief minute's time.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. You know, I actually about 2 years ago or something like that, I was in the grocery store, and some Christians came up to me, and you know, I'm open to hear whatever anyone has to say. You know, I don't just shoot them down because they are Christian. You know, I'm
We don't
listening.
do that.
So
We don't.
yeah, I don't do that. So they came up to me and wanted to read me something out of their phone in their paperwork they had, right? So honestly, I can't remember the sect that they were in, or the denomination, I should say, but these people believe that they are the true Christians, the ones with the true knowledge, and that Mary and Jesus are buried in Asia, in actually Korea, to be exact. And that is where the fountain of youth is. That is where Jesus is, and Mary. Have you
Sounds
heard about this?
well. I haven't heard about it, but it sounds almost similar to what I was saying.
So, and they also believe that Mary is like above Jesus. Like they put her above him. And so in the case, they was trying to recruit me, you know, trying to get me to become a Christian that believes in Jesus in Asia and so forth, you know, and they go out to Asia, and they go there on certain times of the year, and they go pray, and they touch the dirt, and they lay on the ground and stuff, whatever. So that's where Jesus is at. So I actually heard something about this before, but not in Japan, but more so Korea.
All right. Well, I mean, I could be either here or there. I mean, I could be, but it sounds similar.
Okay, but how? Okay, so I just want to know, if he is really in Asia,
Hmm.
why hasn't anyone actually came and showed us where he is buried at? No one.
Because that would go, that would go against what they're propagating. I mean, they're propagating that, he went he went to heaven, and he's supposed to come back or something like that.
But
That's
ain't that's just ridiculous though. That
oh,
just sounds crazy.
I mean, I'm just saying that's what they say.
But that just sounds crazy. People say a lot of stuff and it don't make no sense, and that doesn't make sense.
Right.
So he was in the ground and went up into the sky. He's getting ready to come back and win.
Right. Well, I mean, we know. Well, we know that reincarnation is a fact, and you know, Jesus' main thing was, you know, love. His main thing was love. So that's, you know, that's been reincarnated through the different prophets, and you know, we could
Okay, the whole fall narrative, how they control the man. All right, I'm sorry, another Moor, female. She said that she heard that he was in India.
he was in India.
Yes.
He taught in India, Africa, and Europe.
But India is considered as Asia too.
Mm-hmm.
So you think he was buried in India, possibly?
Nah, I mean, I say Japan. I say Japan, but I stand to be corrected. But I want to say Japan, but definitely not India. I don't want to
He
say he's.
wasn't buried nowhere. There was no such thing as him. He's nowhere.
Well, no, there actually was a Jesus, but it actually was a Jesus, and
And his
they
name
don't
his name
they
wasn't
don't
really Jesus, right?
they don't use that we use the name Jesus because that's what everybody knows. But we know, you know, the letter J is only 400 to 500 years old, so we know his name
Mm-hmm.
couldn't be Jesus. So I mean, you know, just for clarity's sake, we say Jesus because that's what people know. That's what they know. So if I was to say Yahshua, nobody's gonna know who Yahshua is.
I think a lot of people will know who Yahshua is.
But I mean, for the masses, though, you know, the way that, you know, what they propagated to our people and what they have in our people's heads is, you know, I mean, I grew up in, you know, being in a
Baptist.
being in a church, and I don't have nothing, you know, we don't talk bad about no organized group or church or anything. But as growing up and going to church, I never could grasp I never could grasp everything that was going on. And when I always asked questions, I was told that I don't question God, and I was just trying to find out certain things. So I mean, I mean, through things being handed down to our ancestors was, this man's ideology, and that's what we got until I got old enough to find the truth for myself.
Right.
All praise be to Allah. So,
Arm, leg, arm, head. Yes. Allah. So, question. Matter of fact, we got to bring it back because you kind of just went around it. So, where is the actual proof that he's there, though?
You said, where's the actual proof?
Yeah, where's the actual proof that he is either in Japan, wherever he might be at? Where is the proof? Why haven't anyone been able to find his bones? They're finding bones from 400,000 years ago, but have not found Jesus yet. And Jesus is way younger than 400,000 years old.
But can I just tell you this though? So the people
Where's the bones?
Listen, the people that's hiding it and making sure it don't come out, they know this information, but it's not gonna do any good for the people to know it, because then the people's gonna know that everything's been a lie, and that's all they know.
All they know is a lie?
Well, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense though, because everything that we've been taught was a lie, down from the lessons we're learning in public schools, all the way down to being put into churches in reading out of Bibles that were just made up by a bunch of men, homosexual men on top of that. So a lot of stuff that we know is a lie, that we was taught was a lie. So what's the point? Like, I want to know where his bones are. A lot of people want to see this man's bones that see, I wasn't forced to believe in Jesus. I wasn't forced to believe in that. That was nothing that was put on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never went to church with y'all or anything. I just didn't do all that, you know? But I don't know. Maybe y'all took me when I was a little girl. I don't know. I don't know. But since I can remember, maybe you can say something about when I was 5. I don't know. But since I
want
can
some
remember,
water. I want some water.
I'm about to drink my water right now. All right. No, that's an insider, y'all. That's an insider. All right. So since I can remember, seriously, since I was a little girl, I just was not forced to go to church. You know, I never went to church. Jesus was not put on me, none of that stuff. But unfortunately, a lot of our family members, a lot of people, period, was forced to go to church, you know, and fed things that were just untrue and false, just completely false. So I, along with other people in the comments, want to know where the proof is, because they're finding proof of our ancestors' bones, you know, from 400 some thousand years ago. I don't want to hear about all that. Oh, it's going to expose lies and stuff. Lies been being exposed for years, you know. So
But
what's the
I get what you're saying and where you're coming from, and one would have to, like I stated before, with more science, by it being so vast, it's definitely you know, where you would be able to, you know, where you would be able to find all of this information that you're looking for. And then once, like I stated before, once you're able to connect the dots, then everything that comes aligned and everything that you come across is gonna basically reveal that to you. You see what I'm saying? Excuse me, pardon me.
your excuse?
It'll become revealed to you. So I mean, I can say it to you. I could say it to you. I could point you in the direction, but you're gonna have to do the footwork to get to, you know, that's your reward for searching for what it is you want to look for. Because like I stated on occasion before, when I was little, I always wanted to know a lot of things, especially when it came to this whole church thing and the, you know, this, that, and the third. And I wasn't able to get any kind of answers. I was told you don't question God and things of that nature. So when I came into the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, and I say that all the time because it has been, when I came in here, I I learned things. I learned things that I always had questions about, and it automatically was revealed to me. So that's why I'm saying and speaking in those terms. I'm not trying to be elusive, and I'm not trying to be secretive, because it's nothing about a secret. But I'm just giving it to you how it came to me. If that helps.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that's kind of the answer that I was expecting anyway, honestly. So it just makes sense. I'm just saying. Are you there?
Huh?
Okay. I just want to make sure, because I couldn't hear you for a second. All right. So basically, we're not going to know where the proof is. I don't think we'll ever find out where the actual proof is.
Well, you will.
Really?
Yeah. It can be
When?
found. It can be found. It can
All
be
right.
found. It can be found.
People been searching for years, and it hasn't came up. They've been looking in Jerusalem,
Okay.
looking
Well,
looking in India, looking in Asia, so they say.
can I just say one thing?
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone ever decided to go to the Moorish Science Symbol, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic? It's a yes or no answer.
You
I
say
just
that
want
so fast.
no. It's a yes or no answer.
No, I haven't decided to go.
Right. No. So all right. So with that being the case, everybody's looking everywhere, and I'm telling you, this is where you can find it at. This is where you can find.
Goodness, stop it.
No, I'm serious. This is where you can find it at. Because first of all, you gotta know self to be able to know how to find it and and connect the dots. Because everything has been hidden for so long from us. I mean, you got people, look at our ancestors, the older ones that done transition. They didn't even have their nationality. They didn't even know what their nationality was. And that was a secret. It's people that's in the graveyard that they ain't even know that they was nothing else but black. Why is that? Same thing.
Okay, so being a Moor, because I have quite a few Moors on here, that are dropping some questions and so forth. I'm guessing they're from different groups.
Okay.
So, all right, here's a question. Do you believe that the whole world was once Asia?
Of course.
You
That's
do?
true. That's true. That's why we're Asiatic people.
Okay. And tell us what happened.
When you say what
What
happened?
happened? What happened? Why are we not Asia anymore?
Well, we're not Asia no more because you got to remember that there was one thing that happened. There was two things that happened. There was one thing that happened that you said that you didn't believe, which I'm still going to state it anyway. Which we know there was a great flood, which did happen, and then not only that, there was an earthquake. So that made that part of the world drift over to here.
A great flood and an earthquake.
The earthquake, yeah, which made the Atlantic
Awesome.
Ocean.
Okay. So why aren't the Moors going to Japan to find the truth then?
You said why aren't we going to Japan to find the truth? What we gotta
Yes.
go there to find? What we gotta go there to find?
Jesus. I'm reading Jesus.
We don't gotta go there to find Jesus, because once Jesus transitioned, then after he transitioned, then there was another prophet that came that tried that fulfilled the same thing that he was trying to do. So reincarnation when they say reincarnation, I don't mean like he jumped into someone else's body. I don't mean that. Meaning whatever he was doing when he transitioned, there was someone else that came to finish what he was doing, to fulfill what he was doing, and it goes on like that. And our
so you believe he was just reincarnated into other people?
Well, no. When I said reincarnation, I just explained it.
Mm-hmm.
Not him jumping into someone else's body. We know that doesn't happen. When we say reincarnation, we mean what Jesus started to do and he wasn't able to do. The next prophet that came and picked up and continued and fulfilled what Jesus was trying to do.
Oh, I got you.
Then the prophet that passed away, the next prophet came to fulfill what he was doing. So in hindsight, and I'm gonna say this because I know a lot of people don't know it, but our honorable prophet Noble Jew Ali is actually Jesus reincarnated, because he came here to save his people. Our honorable prophet Noble Jew Ali came here to save us from our sinful ways. We've been stripped of our nationality, our religion, our free national name. We didn't know nothing of who we was, and Prophet Noble Jew Ali brought all of that here for us.
Goodness. That's some serious beliefs there, cuz. Brother Cornelius Sanders-Bey. I mean, that's some serious beliefs there. Goodness. You know what? But like I said, I'm not going to, until I actually know for sure, I'm going to do my own research on, because I've been studying, looking into Moorish stuff for years, just looking, but I don't never focus on that one thing, but I'm going to actually pick up y'all Circle 7 Qu'ran and read it thoroughly.
Well, yeah, and you can contact me and we can go over it together. And matter of fact, before I forget, I wanted to ask you, it's been a pleasure on the show with you. I do anything to support you. I wanted to ask you if you was all right, would you like to do an interview of the National Grand Sheik from the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic? I think you would love that, and I think your viewers, and I think I believe it would be very, very fruitful for you.
Of course, I will do an interview with him.
Whereas I've been in this process, and I've been in the temple for 2.5 years. He got over 40 something years, so he really has a lot to offer and bring to the table. I love him. I love him dearly. He's been nothing but a blessing to me and my family. And you my family. I already spoke to him about it. So I wanna definitely have that set up and have you
I know you spoke to him about it. I know you did.
You know I did.
I know you did. So of course he's welcome, and I would love to, interview him and hear what he has to say. I have one question to ask. Why do you say that so fast?
Why do I say what?
The Temple
Oh,
19, that whole thing. Why do you say it so fast
I,
like that?
I say it fast.
Yeah, I don't know. It just comes out
Okay.
so fast when you say it.
Well. I mean,
Is that how you all say it inside the temple? Do you say it really fast like that?
I was just saying it because I like to try to, but I wasn't saying it
Get
for
it
no
out.
reason.
Okay.
I
You say
wasn't
it
saying.
so fast.
Oh
All
well,
right.
part of me for saying it. I say it at a nice pace. The Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, Incorporated. Oh no, I said Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic.
Okay, one last question before we end this show. We've been on for almost 2 hours, and I appreciate everybody that viewed and listened and everything and dropped some questions. They want to know. I kind of do too. Okay, where is Noble Drew Ali buried at?
He is buried. He should be buried in, I believe it's in Chicago. I believe
Chicago?
he's buried in Chicago. Yep.
Is that where he's originally from?
Noble
Or
Drew
is that
Ali
where he passed away?
he was born in the state of North Carolina in 1886.
He was born in North Carolina. And is Chicago where he lived at? Why would he be buried in Chicago?
Well, Chicago, I would say he was buried in Chicago because I believe when he passed away, he was in Chicago.
He's in Chicago?
Yes.
I wonder why they didn't take his body back to North Carolina then.
I mean, I couldn't answer that.
Is that where he was at for a long time? Like, did he make Chicago his home? Is that what you're saying?
His temple was the temple that he had, the main temple was actually in Chicago.
Oh, okay. Okay, makes sense. I guess that's why he was buried there. Okay. All right, so let me see. National Grand Sheik Joel Branton Bay changed my life. Okay. National Grand Sheik Joel Branton Bay changed her life. Do you know who that is?
Who's that?
Who is that? Kashida, can you tell us who he is? This is what she said.
Islamism. That's my sister.
Okay.
That's my sister. Islamism. Me and her got naturalized together. We was in classes together and everything.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, yes.
She's been commenting in the thread. So she's saying that this person changed her life. Well, I'm glad. I hope he changed your life for the better, and I hope you're doing really well and doing great things. As long as it's making you a better person, that's all that matters. Seriously. All right. Who don't? All right.
I like to definitely have you interview him, and that's gonna be history right there.
We have so many questions, but I'm sorry y'all cannot answer. I can't put all these questions out here. We've been on for almost 2 hours, and we're gonna have who what's his name? What's his name?
Who?
At the Moorish temple. All that. I can't. I'm sorry.
The National Grand Sheik Joel Branton Bay of the Moorish.
National Grand Sheik. That's who she just mentioned.
Of the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic.
Goodness. I'm not gonna be able to write all that. Like, all right, Grand Sheik Joel Branton Bay.
Joel Branton Bay.
Oh, it's Joel.
Joel
Branton Bay. All right. And you said he's been in this for 40 years?
Way over 40, 45 years, way over 40 years.
Okay. He an old head in this. He got that knowledge on that Circle 7. All right. I can't wait to have him on.
Yes.
Can't wait to have him on. All right, you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I want Cornelius Sanders-Bey, brother Cornelius Sanders-Bey, can you please let everyone know where to find you at? If they have any questions, how to holler at you, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people do have questions.
You can friend request me on Facebook, Cornelius Sanders-Bey. You can contact me. You can contact me that way. You and for the people that like I was trying to give you the email address earlier and I wasn't clear. The email address for our town hall meetings on every Sunday, 7:30 to 9:30, where you can email your questions in and your questions will be answered by the members and the people in the public. And at the end, the National Grand Sheik will come on and summarize your questions that you have. So you can send your questions to townhall@MoorishamericanNationalRepublic.com. And also at that number that I gave you, 443-961-4434, we have our National Holy Night meeting, which is every Friday.
Every Friday.
Every Friday, because Friday is our holy day.
Sounds good.
For all Muslims all around the world.
That's peace. That's peace. Well, thank you for coming on the show. It was great having you answer all these questions. It's kind of like we was giving you the third degree over here. But you had the answers. You was coming with them, pretty swiftly, I guess you would say. So I do appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate all the viewers, everyone that tuned in, everyone that subscribed, everyone that that shared your post and kind of spread the word, that you was coming on the show. I appreciate it, and I hope to have you on again with Sheikh Joel Brenton,
National Grand Sheik.
National Grand Sheik Joel Brenton Bey. Yes, that's long. Gosh, goodness, that's long. All right. Well, I hope to have you both on at the same time. Kind of sitting next to each other. That would be awesome.
Oh, that'll
have y'all on.
Set it up.
I definitely will. All right. Well, it was nice talking to you, and I'm going to end the show.
I appreciate the time. Thank you much. Appreciate you much. Love you much. Peace to all.
Love you too. Peace.
It's the scoop with Fari. Go out. Go